The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. It's your midweek fix for racing news and information. Brought to you by the Championship Racing Network. Now let's head trackside to join your hosts, Steve West and Matt Nicholson.
And here we are. There was an old song from the 1970s, if you remember the Carpenters, that said, "Rainy days and Mondays always get me down." About rainy days and Tuesdays as we record this. But there's no reason to be down because we get to talk racing, and that is exactly what Matt and I are going to do here this afternoon. And thank you for checking it out. And of course, always, you can subscribe down below or comment down below. We would love to hear what you got to say as we get to talking about the two topics we're going to be talking about. Coming up in just a little bit, we lost somebody whose name should be very recognizable to you if you are a NASCAR fan. But first things first, this weekend, instead of Chicago and running on the streets of Chicago, these guys are going to be running around, and I'm talking all three top series here. Craftsman Truck Series, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and the Cup Series. They're all going to be running around Naval Base Coronado in San Diego, Matt? We think this is a we think this is a 1 year only deal, and probably that's not a bad thing. And seems appropriate. 250th birthday of the United States of America, declaring independence from Great Britain. And as you can see down here, you've got an outline of what the track is going to look like. You have driven a version of it on iRacing, and you showed that to me last Saturday after we did the big show. It's interesting. In some places, it's really, really tight, maybe tighter than what I ever would have expected. But the interest is there, and the fields are almost 100%, aren't they?
Yeah, the Cup cars, they've got 39 on the entry list. They're one short. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series has 37, and Craftsman Truck Series has 35. So everybody will start that does make the trip, because that would be an awfully long run to not even make the show.
Well, and here's the other thing, speaking of long runs. The NASCAR got credited, and Amazon Prime did as well, for being as flexible as they were. They moved up the race at Pocono last Sunday 2 hours so that they made sure they got it in, and apparently just got it in, because right as you got the checkered flag and they started doing the victory lane and post-race celebrations, started to feel raindrops. So it worked. But they needed to get out of town anyway, because you got to go from Pocono, Pennsylvania to Charlotte, or the Charlotte area anyway, to get to your shop, get everything prepared, and start heading all the way west from Charlotte to San Diego.
The Craftsman Truck Series haulers were already en route yesterday, because when I was out and about with work, I saw the Rayon trucks headed down I-20 headed westbound.
Yeah. And I want to say I heard this morning, and again, we're recording this on Tuesday, from Larry McReynolds on Sirius XM Satellite Radio, that it was Jeremy Clement's team. They got to their shop at about 5 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, and they were working pretty much all day, wrapped everything up, and started shipping things out 9 o'clock Sunday night. That's the quick turnaround here. And they got to stay on the West Coast, because after they get done at San Diego, they're going up the coast to Napa Valley, basically, to run at Sonoma. And from what we hear, they're going to do the turnaround of anything new that they need. They're going to meet on the grounds of the decrepit and dying on the vine Auto Club Speedway. And they'll change over equipment there, and whatever's going north goes north. Whatever's coming back east heads back east.
Yeah, that's an awfully long run to make a swapping point, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of crazy, but at the same time, this is what you do when you're running all around the country, and you've got two races on the West Coast, and you got to figure out a way to be able to make it work. And they will, and they'll start coming back east after that. So I'm fascinated by this. The only race that I'm really going to be able to watch live is going to be on Sunday. It's going to be the Cup Series race, just because of the streaming situation in my house. But, you know, that's my choice. Again, I've said that before, and I'll say it again. That's my choice. I get to deal with that. Don't see any sense in complaining about it. It's just the way that it is. What are you expecting?
Pulling it up, looking at it real quick.
Yeah,
I can see why they left out immediately on Sunday night, because you use Jeremy Clement's team, for example, and they share a shop now with Haas Factory team. When you look at the distance from Haas Factory team out to Naval Base Coronado, it is from that point A to point B is 36 hours and 3 minutes, 2,406 miles.
Whew. And knowing the trucking regulations and rules of the limited amount of time that you can be behind the wheel, or how they regulate that, there's true drivers probably in every truck.
There are. Every single hauler will run team hauler all the way from North Carolina to San Diego.
Yeah.
And back.
And I got to thinking about it, and you kind of confirmed it. If I were going to be the one to drive from the Charlotte area to San Diego, I would have dropped down and taken I-20 until it dumped me onto I-10 over there in the middle of nowhere in Texas, and taken 10 basically the rest of the way as well.
Yeah, taking I-20 all the way to El Paso and then picking up 10 and going through Arizona.
Right.
Over to San Diego.
Right. Makes most sense, truth be told. So, all right, here's the situation that we're looking at. So they go from there up north. But in your way of looking at this, knowing the fact that we are about to get into things like the challenge, which we'll talk about, the 5-race challenge, the in-season challenge, if you will. San Diego's not a part of that. It's kind of separated out. They've set the field and seeded it last weekend at Pocono. Begins the weekend after as TNT picks up the TV side of things. But for this particular race right here, are we expecting what we would normally expect? Are we looking for the road course ringers to start coming in and just dominate it? Or because nobody is really familiar with this except kind of like what you are, which is on iRacing or simulator, what can we expect? Is this wide open?
Well, it's in a way it's going to be wide open because nobody has, I'm going to call it physical familiarity with the race course. They only have simulated familiarity with it. And from the simulation runs that you can run via iRacing or whatever Chevrolet or Ford or Toyota puts into their respective manufacturer simulator, you're going to have some differences there because it's not going to be exact. And from everything that I've seen so far via the iRacing platform, it's dead on the money.
Okay.
And it's going to be very, very, very hairy. And I think very hairy may be an understatement.
Right. We've seen Toyota all but dominate the last handful of races here. Do you expect that to continue, or is this kind of an equalizer there too?
I think it's going to be an equalizer, and probably in the end result, you're probably going to see a similar situation, kind of like Watkins Glen, where you got Shane Van Gisbergen and probably the likes of Michael McDowell towards the front.
Okay, and expect a Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, who's turned into a pretty good road racer. Those should be pretty good too.
Tyler Reddick should be okay.
Yeah.
The ones that have increased their, I guess you could say their forte and their repertoire on the road courses and gotten better, they should be all right. But the undulations and the lay of this track and everything is going to throw a lot of people for a huge, huge loop. Okay. It is rough.
Mentioned basically 2 Chevrolet and 2 Toyota drivers there from the Ford camp. Who's their best hope?
I'm going to say Austin Cindric.
Okay. Team Penske. Not really that big of a surprise.
Austin
All
Cindric.
Right. From there, let's talk about the other situation, and we will fully detail his career coming up on the big show on Saturday. But I think it's worth mentioning twice, and that's the passing of Steve Wade. And Steve Wade is a name that should be familiar to anybody who's followed the sport of NASCAR for any length of time, really. Passed away. Cancer sucks. And I'll tell you that it not only took one person, it actually took 2 from our racing world, as Dennis Reinbold from Dreyer and Reinbold Racing in Indycar also passed away due to cancer. We'll talk about him on Saturday as well. But Steve Wade was, for a man who is as well known as he is, And for the fact that print media right now is all but dead, this man made a mark that still stands 15, almost 20 years after his effective retirement.
And it very likely will never be touched.
I would agree. He has deserved every award he's gotten. He's a Spire Hall Award winner in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. He's in the NMPA, which we're members of, Hall of Fame. His journalistic abilities were impeccable. Yes, he was friends with the people that were on the track. He was friends with the ownership. He was friends with the crew chiefs. He was friends with other media members. But if he saw what was good, he reported it that way. If he saw something and thought it was bad, he reported it that way. That's the idea of journalism. He wasn't biased in any way, shape, or form, but he was also, according to everything that I've ever heard, because I never had the chance to officially meet him, unfortunately, not one-on-one, just kind of in passing. But from everybody that I have ever talked to about Steve Wade was a man who would be more than happy to sit down and talk with you. And man, if you got to talking about racing, he lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, I echo that same thing because I've heard those same things as well. I've only seen him in passing in media centers from Darlington to Homestead to Talladega, Daytona, Charlotte, Atlanta, places like that. I've seen him there, but never had a chance to speak with him. But I've always heard that same thing as well.
Yeah. Steve Wade, definitely a big loss, especially when the fact that NASCAR scene, formerly, Winston Cup scene, and before that it was Grand National scene, something he was the senior editor of for over 2 decades, if I'm remembering my numbers correctly. I don't have them all sitting in front of me. The man was just fine, upstanding man. Our thoughts and our prayers here at CRN and Cross Flags go out to him, his family, his wife. They got married, and they were married for over 50 years. Impressive enough in this day and age, no doubt about it. They had 2 kids, son and a daughter. And our thoughts and our prayers go out to their entire family and all the people who knew Steve Wade so well. We feel it just because we're basically in the same field, but man, those who knew him well and were friends with him or family, we can't say enough. So our thoughts and our prayers out to them in this time. And again, we will detail his life in full, but it just goes further to prove. And my family's been touched by it. Your family's been touched by it. I'm sure that producer John and producer Molly's families as well. And it just, it sounds trite, but the 2 words never ring truer. Cancer sucks.
Amen.
And you've been affected by it. So you know it better than me.
Unfortunately, but I do.
Yeah. So, and my wife as well. My father and my mother-in-law, my wife's mother. Yeah. So Steve Wade, rest in peace, Godspeed. And we will detail his life and the life of Dennis Reinbold. And we will have, of course, all the other information of the week as we get into the big show this coming Saturday morning. I've had a lot of people ask about this, and come July 4th, which will be a Saturday, are we doing a show? Yes, we are. We will be doing a show Saturday, July 4th in some way, shape, or form. And it'll look a little bit different, too, because guess who gets to produce Saturday morning on our flagship station, Talk 99.5? So I'm not going to be in the same room as Matt. So, Matt, I need you, because I need you in that room over there.
Yep. So far, so good.
There's the preview coming up for July 4th weekend. We have said it many, many times. We're doing our level best to be year-round. We'll figure it out, even if we have to pre-record. But now we'll be live that coming Saturday morning, as we will this Saturday morning. Many, many thanks to producer John for getting everything set up here and getting us rolling here. Producer Molly for making sure that we're also up on all the other proper YouTube pages. For Matt Nicholson, I'm Steve West. Thank you for checking out this edition of Cross Flags. Don't forget, comment, subscribe down below. And we will talk to you Saturday morning with the next edition of the big show, the Championship Racing Network.
You've been listening to Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. For more content like this, subscribe to CRN Live on YouTube, and you'll be set to catch the 2-hour live show every Saturday morning at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.